After Naomi Judd's shocking death, her husband of more than 3 decades, Larry Strickland, finally broke his silence, revealing painful truths about a marriage far more complicated than the public ever knew. Naomi and Larry met in 1979 at a music event in Nashville, long before Naomi became a country music icon. At the time, she was a struggling single mother working night shifts as a nurse to support her daughters, Winona and Ashley, while Larry was already immersed in the music world as a respected gospel singer who had toured with Elvis Presley. Their shared love of music and contrasting personalities, Naomi's fiery determination balanced by Larry's quiet steadiness, drew them together, and after 10 years of dating, they married in 1989 just as the Judds reached the height of their fame. But behind the awards and sold-out shows, Naomi was battling mounting pressure, deep insecurity, and eventually a devastating hepatitis C diagnosis that forced her to step away from performing at the peak of her career. As Larry continued touring and Naomi shifted toward television, writing, and advocacy, emotional distance and strain began to grow between them, intensified by Naomi's unresolved childhood trauma, her fear of abandonment, and long-standing mental health struggles. Those struggles sometimes surfaced in alarming ways, including moments of extreme emotional distress that Larry later admitted he didn't always know how to handle. Raised in poverty and shaped by a childhood marked by instability and her mother's mental illness, Naomi carried wounds that fame could not heal, and those wounds affected her relationships with her daughters as well. Despite their powerful on-stage bond, Winona later revealed they were emotionally distant, while Ashley spoke openly about growing up feeling abandoned and disconnected. Over the years, Naomi's mental health deteriorated further, leading to diagnoses of severe depression, anxiety, PTSD, and sleep disorders, along with inpatient treatment and electroconvulsive therapy. Larry remained by her side, but the toll was immense, and he later described periods where Naomi seemed lost, withdrawn, and unreachable. In one long-hidden incident, later confirmed publicly, Naomi fired a gun during a moment of emotional collapse after believing Larry had betrayed her, an event he described not as anger, but as a desperate cry for help rooted in fear and pain. They chose to keep the incident private and continued their marriage, but the scars never fully healed. In the final months of Naomi's life, her exhaustion and despair became more visible, even as she prepared to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame with Winona. On April 30, 2022, just one day before the ceremony, Naomi died by suicide at her Tennessee home, a tragedy that stunned the world and reignited conversations about mental health. After her death, controversy followed when it was revealed that her will left her entire estate to Larry, excluding her daughters, exposing unresolved family wounds through voicemails, journals, and letters filled with love, guilt, and regret. Years later, Larry stepped forward in documentaries and interviews, acknowledging the darkest moments of their marriage, expressing remorse for not recognizing how deeply Naomi was suffering, and sharing his hope that telling their story might encourage compassion and understanding for others living with mental illness. Naomi Judd left behind an extraordinary musical legacy, but also a sobering reminder that even the brightest stars can be fighting battles unseen.